How did I achieve success and happiness in my simple life without being rich, without being known, living a simple life, day-to-day life? Very, very simply. Everything, it's in my head. It's in my attitude, in my thinking, the way I think, the way I value this life, the way I prioritize this life, like what I'm doing on a daily basis. And I can tell you this, I learned from Russian Orthodox, if I think about death, like when I die, in a perspective of death, of ending my life, not myself, but like dying of whatever, at whatever stage in my life, what regrets would I have that how I lived and what I was going after in life? I never wanted to have any regrets in my life that are something maybe wanted to do and I never gave a shot. Um, but over the years, over the last 25 years, I wanted to make more money, but I didn't know how to do it. So I stayed on a spiritual side. I used to go to church a lot, used to pray a lot, help a lot, give a lot, and a lot practiced gratitude. I very little asked of God anything. I only when I prayed, I used to pray in thanksgiving for everything, for my health, and for any situation that I was experienced in my life. I had 3-4 years battling depression, being suicidal in about 2016, maybe between 2010, no, between 2010, I think, and 13, 14, 13, maybe three solid years. And that was the darkest time when I was lost. I didn't know what to do in life. I lost my dream that I wanted to become a preacher one day, but then when I stopped going to church, I realized that this finished. I will never be a preacher. And I didn't know what else I wanted to do. I felt like this is my thing, what God gave me. Like I felt pretty good when I used to talk to people in the church or evangelize on the streets, and I felt pretty happy doing that. But then when that got shattered, so I got really depressed, and that was a season of for myself going down to the bottom of the barrel, because unless you're gonna be strengthened in life and going through difficult things, you can't go to the top. You're gonna be too weak to handle things, to handle pressure. But if you've been at the very bottom of the barrel, you know what it is. You can climb afterwards to this. Only the stars is the limit, you know. The heaven is the limit. But when it comes to happiness, really, I started to appreciate long time ago just going for a walk and focusing on the Lord and giving thanks for, for anything, food, the day that I'm finding myself in, like for today, for this moment, and just praying and giving thanks, and I would go so ecstatic and so happy, my heart would melt out of joy and this peace in my heart that I never known on a human level until I started to talk to God and pray to Jesus, and that was my first step getting into happiness and realizing that just beginning experiencing something in my heart that I never experienced before, some kind of like joy and overwhelming, like softening the heart like a sponge, and like you seem like melting inside and you're so happy, and sometimes tears falling, you start crying, just talking to the Lord, and it's just like expressing your heart and gratitude, mainly gratitude, and longings. Used to say how I actually would picture myself standing in front of Jesus, and that what he would say to me, and that helped me a lot to live in a way, doing goodness, choosing goodness, kindness, generosity, compassion, deny at times when situations would come what I want, instead of when I can serve somebody with my little money that I had, with my little resources that I had, the car I had, I used the tools or whatever I had, anything in my possession I used if needed to help somebody else. And every time I helped, I felt good, I felt happy. So anytime you choose to help someone, you will feel happier. So that's key number one, is to practice goodness in your life. Do kind things when you can unto other people. Second is to practice gratitude. Gratitude, if you're a believer, pray to God. If you're non-believer, thank universe that you're still breathing, because you don't control your next breath. So you don't know whether you're going to breathe in or not. So if you think you're going to breathe in, you're too arrogant and life will humble you. Look at Steve Jobs. He was successful and wealthy. And what he realized when he got sick, he realized that all this wealth paled away. And at the moment of like impending death, he realized that all this is just meaningless. All this wealth, all this recognition is meaningless. And also what he said, that if you make money to the point that you don't need to work anymore, do something what you would love to do. Maybe you dream something, some kind of hobby when you were younger. Do something like that. Don't go after money anymore. Look, I watched Tony Robbins' podcast once, a couple of years ago, and he said in one podcast, he's probably billionaire by now. I'm not sure. He has over 100 companies, which few years ago, I think 2 years ago, he had 100 companies. Now he's gonna have more companies, right? Because he's keep growing. But what he tells me, that the guy said, I'm traveling 150 days a year, and at times couple of days at a time. And now he has a daughter born unto him when he was 60. Now think for a moment, a guy has a lot of money. He has everything to stay at home and do whatever he wants at what time he wants, and see how his daughter is growing. And now instead of he's traveling, making money, making other people happy, and giving things like his knowledge away, making money, more and more money, when he's missing his own daughter's life, right? He doesn't even realize that. So he's enjoying over the WhatsApp or Skype or whatever. But what it tells me, that people having loads of money, they're still slaves until something happens in their life, like Steve Jobs, and the impending death, and realize, why did I do this? Why did I pursue the money when I didn't need at all to pursue the money? And you have the status, and you want to maintain maybe the status. Look, there's so many wealthy people, but I'm telling you, none of them I desire to be like one of them, because I already achieved happiness and success to a certain level in my life. And I realized that you don't need a lot of money to be happy and successful what you think for your success. So for me, my success was, first of all, is to work for myself and completely control my income, that nobody has say over that. I decide how much I want to work. I decide what I want to do with my life. I work only 2.5 weeks. The rest, 10 days after 2.5 weeks, I have 10 days off. And in between 2.5 weeks, I have a day or 2 days here and there. So really, at this point, I'm very, very happy in my life. But that's not the end of it. So once I set my journey to final destination, what I want to achieve with my life, I become fulfilled. I'm already living fulfilled life, because now I have destination. I already have a daily activity. What keeps me happy? I bought a camper van. I go by the sea. I go in the mountains. I travel around the country, and I just enjoy being like with the nature, and with myself. Sometimes with my friends, and sort of like, but mainly by myself. And because I'm focusing on my future, it's just like I'm ecstatic. I'm really happy. I understand that where I am, I don't need to rush. I do make progress. I make effort to speed up, and that I wouldn't need to live till 60 until I achieve what I want. But that gives me great satisfaction that I discovered my path, that I'm walking on this path now, that I'm making effort daily, and enjoying simple things, appreciating simple things. How good is that? So you don't need a lot of money. If you have, after all your bills, if you accept simple life, if you enjoy simple things, walks, biking, if you can buy a small camper van that you give you, like, because camper van has a bed, toilet, you will have a cooker, and you can have an instant shower as well. So you don't need a lot of money. And if you like nature, if you don't like nature, it's gonna be harder, because normally people who are happy, they connect with through nature with God. When you go for a walk, and you look up to heaven, you sort of like get like energy in you, and makes you like calms you down, and it makes you really at peace. And if you focus on, also Bible teaches that you think about something positive, something uplifting. And I recommend that if you don't have a lot of money, but even if you have a little bit money, you can think how you would like to do some kindness. Maybe you know some people or even if you don't know any people, you just imagine that you would like to give money to someone, if you want, or do some kind things onto somebody, maybe come wash the car and say for elderly person and walk away, and something like that. And as you picture these images in your mind, it will make you happy, it will make you at peace, and sometimes you even might cry, because God will touch your heart, because the Bible says that think about something honorable, something good, something uplifting. And I practiced that for many years, and I can tell you many times I used to work, and tears would drip, and because I'm thinking in my mind about doing something kind unto somebody maybe I know, and I would watch that somebody, nobody would see that I'm almost crying, sort of like my eyes wet, and I'm ecstatic inside. Just I can't explain. It's just like the heart is melting, full of joy, full of love, and it's just like you're like in a different realm. You need to experience that, but this you can achieve this. Your heart has to be pure. Pure, I mean, like practicing clean thoughts, kindness, kind thoughts, good thoughts. As I say, focusing on mainly on kindness, on doing good things unto other people. Yeah. So, and if you, for example, pay all your bills, and after that you have £1,000, you literally £1,000 to spend on yourself. That's all it needs to happiness. That's all you need to happiness. And having that, you can invest towards your dream. It's also good, as I say, if you would not work 30 days a month, that you only maybe work 2 weeks, and the rest of 2 weeks you have as some kind of job, some kind of income, and the rest of the week you pursue your dream, and that's happy days. It doesn't take a lot, but it makes your life very peaceful. If you're single, that's the way to live. If you're in a relationship and your relationship doesn't go the way you want, you should consider that this is, two people must agree in relationship to be happy, and two people must agree to look after each other. So you can't, yes, if you take the blame on yourself, if you take your partner, whatever the partner, the way behaves on yourself, and you bite the bullet, and you just simply bow your head and just, you will never be happy. You won't carry this type of load for long. Sooner or later, you're gonna get sick. So the only way in relationship to last long and be happy is when two people taking care of each other. That's the only way. If you don't want to do that, if you can't agree on that, leave it, divorce and whatever, and start life from scratch. That's the way to do it. If you can't agree, because even the Bible says if two people can't agree to walk on the same road towards, let's say, the same direction, you can't be on the same road. If one wants to go to London, another wants to go to Scotland, you have no chance. You haven't got a chance. So yeah, my advice for you to be happy is to develop your kind thoughts, gratitude in your head, and doing kind things unto other people, and practice that goodness and kindness and generosity in your life. And you will see how slowly you start experiencing peace in your heart, joy in your heart, when you start speaking gratitude, when you start thinking, while you're working. Depends what type. If your mental work it could be difficult, but even in moments going to toilet, you still can fast think about something kind. Develop the right mindset, meaning what I'm saying. Because if you allow negativity in your mind, it will poison it, and it will kill your joy, steal your peace, inner peace, and steal that happiness in you. That little happiness maybe you just had a few moments ago. But the negative thought, it kills it instantly like this. That's why it's crucial to learn to focus your mind in the right way on the positive things, what I described how to do it. Then you will start experiencing happiness. And once you draw a road, what you want to do with your life, that will be fulfilling life, right? So you will live a happy life if you in a place where whatever you do, if you can't work for the company because it's too much pressure, whatever, find a way, maybe less money. And if you can't afford, then work for yourself and maybe less money, but peaceful life. That's what I chose. I chose working for myself. I make more money than I used to make in a factory. I work less than I used to work in a factory. I've got a lifestyle that I enjoy very much, and I'm going in life after something that I want to achieve. And that's it. It's a stamp. I'm happy and I'm fulfilled. I'm living a fulfilling life. And I'm not millionaire. And I'm not crazy about it, because I realize how good it is the way I live. Do I want to stay like this? Even if nothing would change, I would be happy because I already live peaceful, happy life. But of course, without direction in life, you will never be fulfilled and happy. So you have to go, some people going after spirituality, and some people maybe want to make a stamp, a mark in this world. But don't lose yourself by trying to achieve this mark in the world. Like when I look at this at Tony Robbins or Steve Jobs, I'm learning from these people, and I'm practicing things in my life. And when I look what they say, that 150 days travel, a couple of days at a time, Tony Robbins hardly at home. Do I want this life? For a single? Yeah. You can travel, enjoy life, whatever, because you're single. But if you have a family, it's different. I wouldn't want to miss my child while my child growing up. Not to hug, not to give kisses. So, learn from these leaders that teaching happiness when they're themselves slaves of material things and status of society and money, right? So, good luck with that, and wish you all the best and loads of love and happiness in your life.